What's up guys, it's Annie and welcome back to my channel. If you haven't already, make sure to check out all the videos that I made about my experience coming to Taiwan from the United States during this whole coronavirus pandemic. Honestly, I was supposed to be going home last week and I realized that right now is not a great time to be flying, especially to the United States. So I just literally the morning of, I decided to stay in Taiwan for my own safety, and it was crazy because I already told everyone goodbye like a week ago, and I ended up coming back home and everyone was like, what the heck? And I was like, honestly, it's not safe to fly right now. I'd much rather be here in a safe country. So I'm so glad I stayed. I'm so happy that I can be here right now to make more videos for you guys and encourage everyone to come here, especially because we don't know what the future is like, and Taiwan is a great place with great food and great people. So make sure to come if you ever have the chance. Okay, so before we get started on this video, I just want to do a huge thank you to everyone who has been supporting me and all my videos and just commenting and asking a bunch of questions about quarantine and what Taiwan is like and how to get in and how to stay and just all these different things, not only on my YouTube channel but as well as on Instagram. So make sure to follow me on Instagram as well as subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want to hear more about what Taiwan is like right now during COVID with no locally transmitted cases of COVID, and how life is like here, how it's normal, but everyone still wears masks just in case, because Taiwan is a very proactive instead of reactive. So that's why they shut down everything and are slowly opening up more and more to foreigners and whatnot. Not quite yet to the tourists and sightseeing visas yet, but we are doing a really good job here, and all the people are very, very proud of our government. And the last couple months that I've been here, I've just been traveling a lot. I've hit up almost all of the offshore islands. For example, if you saw my Green Island videos, I also went to Jingmen and Matsu and even Turtle Island and Xiaoliuqiu and whatnot. I still have to hit up Orchid Island, so let me know if you have any tips or if you know anyone who lives there, because I would love to. And by the way, if you guys are in Taiwan right now and you want to come check out the south, whether it's Tainan or Jiayi or Kaohsiung or whatever, please hit me up. I'm more than happy to take you out here, especially in Tainan, because everybody knows that it's the belly of Taiwan, which means you gotta eat all the good food here, and I will tell you right now, there's a lot of good food here. So make sure to hit me up, let me know if you're here, and I can take you out and we can eat and everyone will be happy. I have friends that come down from Taipei that eat food here and they're just like, oh my god, why did I not know that there was so much good food here? It's you hear about it, but unless you come and eat it for yourself, it's a whole different story. But anyways, yeah, so I've been traveling a lot, and of course I'm more than happy to share all the footage that I filmed when I was traveling, especially on the offshore islands. But I think most people here are interested in hearing how to come to Taiwan right now, so that's why I'm doing these videos again. But just let me know if there's anything that you want to see specifically, and I'm more than happy to share. Okay, so without further ado, let's go into how to get your Taiwan passport. So a lot of people have been asking me to make a video on how I got my Taiwan passport, because at the time when I first came into Taiwan, that's when they completely blocked all foreign passports from coming into Taiwan. So you had to have a Taiwan passport, which I didn't have at that time. But nowadays, now that it's December and they've already kind of relaxed some of the policies, you can enter with a foreign passport now, but you still do need to have a COVID-specific visa. Before, if you had certain passports, for example, from the United States, it was visa-free. But during COVID, they do have some visa regulations, because they're still not allowing tourists or sightseeing visas to come in. You have to come in for one of the approved reasons, for example, to see family, for school, for business, or for medical reasons. So just make sure to check your local TECO or TECRO office and see kind of what the requirements you specifically need. That's actually kind of one of the reasons why I was hesitant to make this video to begin with, just because everybody's situation is different, whether you're at a certain age, or if you're only half Taiwanese, or if you don't have household registration and whatnot. You're gonna hear household registration a lot. So regarding household registration, there are two different types of passports. One is the national with household registration, and then the other one is national without household registration. So what is household registration? I can go into a whole another video about that, which I probably will, because actually household registration, the system here is really, really interesting. I personally am super interested in it. I've literally gone to the household registration office just to see my whole family tree. But anyways, that's beside the point. So the normal Taiwan citizen who lives here in Taiwan, the passport that they would have is the national with household registration. That's with like the whole ID and everything, because they literally have an address here that they live at in Taiwan. However, the national without household registration, that's for people who maybe live overseas, they don't have an address here in Taiwan, but maybe they have someone in their family who does, for example, a parent. So I'll go over both of the passports. So the normal passport, the national with household registration, that's for someone who lives in Taiwan, who literally resides here, or if you are under 20 years old, so that's the catch. If you're under 20 years old and you live overseas, you can still qualify for this passport just because you're under the age of the majority age here in Taiwan. That's how they divide it. So it's 20 years old, and all you need to do is submit the application form. It's usually super easy, even though it's in Chinese, so you will need to have someone help you fill it out if you cannot read Chinese. And then you need your ID, which is your ROC ID, and then 2 passport photos. And they have a specific dimension for your passport photos, so make sure you go online to see exactly what that is. And you have to have like a white background, and you have to like show your ears and no glasses. There's like a bunch of requirements, so just make sure you follow that. Go get your photo taken, print out 2, and bring that to the office with your passport application and your ID. Okay, so you can submit your passport application to any of the immigration offices here in Taiwan. They're actually really helpful. When I went there, there's always like volunteers to help you, and because there's a lot of immigrant workers here that only speak English, sometimes there's someone that can help you speak English. Kind of depends on where you are, but in the major cities, usually they do a pretty good job of helping you out. And once you submit the application form, it's really quick. It only takes a couple days, and then you just go back to the office and you pick up your passport, and there you have it. Okay, so how long is your passport valid for? So for the national with household registration passport, it's usually valid for 10 years. Unless you are under 15 years old, which in case it's only valid for 5 years. That's just because between when you're born until you're 15 years old, you look so different and you change a lot, your height, weight, whatever. So they just want to make sure you have a fresh new passport every 5 years, just to reflect the most accurate representation of yourself. And then after you're 15 years old, then if you're a male, you'll get another restricted passport just because of military service here in Taiwan is mandatory for males. So after 15, and if you're a male, you'll get a restricted passport that's only good for 3 years because it actually has a stamp in your passport that says that you have not fulfilled your military service yet. And then after you do fulfill your military service, then you can get the normal passport that's good for 10 years. After 15 years old, if you're a girl, if you're a female, then you get the normal 10-year passport, and you don't need to get like the restricted conscription passport. Honestly, they all look the same except the one that's not conscription exempt has like a stamp in it, literally it, and it's only valid for 3 years. Okay, so how much does it cost to get your Taiwan passport? So for the normal 10-year passport, it's 1,300 NTD, and if you have a restricted one, which is the newborn through 15-year-old one, or if you are over 15-year-old male and you haven't done your military service yet, then those are both considered restricted passports, and those are only 900 NTD. And to clarify about the passport for the males who have not completed their military service yet, you can get a new passport every 3 years, but you will always have that stamp in your passport until you finish your military service. And every time you exit and enter the country, you need to have special permission just to confirm that you will come back to complete your military service. And then afterwards, then you can get the normal 10-year passport. Okay, I just realized that if I put both the national with household registration and national without household registration information in one video, it will get really long and confusing, and so I'm just going to go ahead and do a part 2 for the national without household registration passport, just because there's a little bit more detail that goes into that. It's not as straightforward, just because a lot of people who are living overseas want to get this passport, and I believe only like 0.5 to 1% of all Taiwan passports are national without household registration. So it is a little bit more nuanced. So I'll go ahead and upload that video next. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button, share this video with anyone that you know is interested in coming into Taiwan. Obviously, during the COVID pandemic, we haven't had any local transmitted cases for the past, like, I don't know, 250 days. We're probably approaching on 300 by now, but that's zero locally transmitted cases. I don't know how many cases have been transmitted in your country, but I know back in the United States, it's really crazy right now. I know in like the UK and Australia, it's also bad. Maybe not as bad as the US, but definitely I don't think it's at zero like Taiwan. So a lot of my friends have been coming back to Taiwan. I know a lot of people have been trying to come back as well. A lot of people have been reaching out to me on YouTube and as well as Instagram. So if you haven't yet, make sure to follow me on Instagram. It's the same handle at ANNIEAIYO. As usual, if you have any questions, make sure to leave them in the comments down below, or you can message me on Instagram, and I'll see you in my part 2. Bye!